Well, Mrs. Chancellor, how nice to see you.
Chair.
This must be Mrs. Bancroft.
How do you do, Mr. Newman?
How do you do?
My father, Mr. Newman.
Hello, Mr. Bancroft.
Glad to meet you, Mr. Newman.
Same to you. Well, I guess you all know Nicky.
Of course.
Well, then, shall we sit down?
My, what a very interesting house you have here, Mr. Newman.
Thank you. Charlie, would you kindly serve the champagne now? I've been saving this champagne for a special occasion. I guess this must be it.
There's a rather large package in the trunk of our car. Would you bring it in for me, please?
Oh, I'll get it.
No, Charlie will get it. Nicky, would you do the honors?
Oh, yes, certainly.
Well, it's very nice weather we have been having lately, isn't it?
Yes, but then we're accustomed to nice weather. In fact, we may just have brought the sunshine with us.
Yes. Have you had a chance to look at the site for Newman Towers yet?
No, not yet. But we won't leave without seeing it.
I am going on record as breaking a rule tonight. I'm drinking. Oh, should you do that, dear? Absolutely not, dear, but it is a special occasion.
Yes, it certainly is a special occasion. In fact, I saved a whole case of this wine for the wedding.
The wedding?
Yes, which will take place 1 week from today. Right here in this room, in fact.
Well, why not? The long engagements are so dull. Would you put it over here for me, please?
Well, is this a wedding present already, or?
No, actually, it's an engagement present for my son.
Oh, Mother, that was awfully nice of you.
And I thought we could all share it.
Oh, thank you very much, Mrs. Bancroft.
Well, I can tell you right now, son, that gift, whatever it is, cost me a pretty penny.
Well, I guess this means that you're giving your approval to the marriage.
You'd heard I'd had some misgivings.
Oh, yes. Well, that's the most natural thing in the world. I mean, it's a mother's reluctance to let go of her son.
Allison never really likes to lose anything.
And I never have.
Except your youth, of course. We all part with that.
Yes, well, that's sadly true now, isn't it? Well, I propose a toast to the young people. Much happiness, Kevin and Nicky.
I think that's the wrong toast, Mr. Newman.
Do you have a better one, Mrs. Bancroft?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I do. I'd like to drink a toast to the real Nicky Reed, the clever performer who's tried to entrap my son.
Allison, dear, would you like to go upstairs and cut your tongue out?
Obviously, Kevin doesn't really know Nicky. And perhaps you don't either, Kay. But I'm sure Mr. Newman does.
What exactly do you mean, Mrs. Bancroft?
I hear you own the dive where she's been stripping for the past year.
Oh, my God.
Good Lord.
Great picture, Nicky. Just great.
Mother, what have you done?
What any concerned mother would do. I took the trouble to find out something about this hussy you're so determined to marry. She hasn't been playing the piano all of her life. She's had several occupations. Waiting on tables, modeling for a shady agency, and most recently, prancing around stark naked for every man in town to leer at.
Mrs. Bancroft, I'd like to remind you that you are a guest in my house.
Mother, I know all about Nicky's dancing. Yes, and as a matter of fact, I've known all about it since I first got here.
Yes, he has. And it's because he was afraid you would throw a fit that I didn't come to San Francisco with him.
But we thought you were studying music.
I am. But it's not the way I earn my living. Did you find out about the divorce, too? What other dirt did you dig up about me?
Enough to know you're not the kind of girl I want in my family.
Oh, well, that was obvious from the start.
Unfortunately, Mrs. Bancroft, what you do or do not want is of no consequence right now. If I were you, I would drop the subject for your own good.
Victor, do you suppose we could have another bottle of champagne because Allison is going to need another drink very soon?
Victor?
Well, I think we should all sit down and discuss this quietly.
There's nothing to discuss. If you think I'm going to stand by and watch my son marry this naked dancer and pass her off as respectable in
Mrs.
front
Bancroft,
of my...
there's nothing wrong with the way Miss Reed earns her living.
Oh, I thought it was strange her living here with you. But as she's your star attraction, I can understand you're wanting to keep an eye on her.
You have a very nasty mind, don't you?
Don't you talk to my wife that way,
Gentlemen,
Newman.
this isn't helping anything.
I bet you think it is one hell of a privilege to marry into your snooty family, don't you? Well, let me tell you
Hey,
something.
Nikki, don't tell them anything, do you understand? Tell them nothing.
Mother, do you realize just how much you've ruined everyone's evening?
I didn't intend to make friends here tonight.
That's for certain. Do you also realize how much you've insulted Mr. Newman, Nikki, and me?
Insulted you.
Yes. You're talking about the woman I'm going to marry 1 week from today.
Oh, Kevin, what's the use? They're never gonna let it happen.
Nikki, it's not a matter of letting. I am going to marry you, and that's that.
Oh, wait just a minute. Are you saying that you really love this girl? Is that it? And do you love him?
She loves him, Mr. Bancroft. And even if she didn't, or he didn't.
Victor, I think we're talking too much.
No, just hold on a minute, Kay. Oh, I think there's more to this than you're telling us, Kevin.
Kevin is an honorable man, Mr. Bancroft, in spite of everything you're trying to do to dishonor his name.
This marriage, it's as much your idea
I
as...
very much approve of this marriage, Mrs. Bancroft.
Well, why would you do that? Unless it's because she's gotten so fat she can't dance anymore.
I beg your pardon.
Well, you liked showing yourself off, didn't you? Is that how you snared Kevin? By stripping down in front of him for a private performance?
Why, yes, Mrs. Bancroft. That's exactly how I got him. I took off my clothes and he took me to bed just like that.
Nikki, careful.
She wants to know the whole truth. Let's give it to her. Your son and I got very drunk one night in his hotel room, and he spilled some champagne all over my dress, just like that.
Little witch!
And then we made love. Yes, and he liked it. Do you hear me? He really liked it.
Nikki, please.
And he wanted me to meet you in San Francisco, but we both decided that you wouldn't be able to handle the shock of knowing about my dancing.
We're from a different world, Miss Reed.
Yes, I understood that then. And I understand that now. But unfortunately, I started to gain a lot of weight.
You what?
I got fat, Mrs. Bancroft, as you so delicately put it before, but from very natural causes.
Oh, my God, here we go.
Mother, what Nikki is trying to explain is that she's pregnant. And no matter what you and Dad say, I am going to marry her.
Good boy, Kevin. Good boy. Good boy.
Pregnant?
She is going to have a baby, darling. Cause and effect. You do remember, don't you? Even though you only tried it once.
Everything about me, Mrs. Bancroft, including the reason why Kevin and I are in such a rush to get married. I mean, you wouldn't want your grandchild to be labeled illegitimate, would you?
I think I'm going to faint.
Mother, I am sorry that you're so upset, but if you would just accept Nikki, then all
This
of this...
puts an entirely different aspect on the
I
situation.
knew that you would all feel that way. However, Nikki was very reluctant to let you know, Mrs. Bancroft.
Although it was getting more obvious by the day.
Well, now, we have settled everything. Why don't we have some more champagne? Perhaps Charlie can serve some dinner.
Victor, I think you're a little premature on both suggestions. I'm sure Allison wants to make a statement, don't you, dear?
And all the time you've been entertaining us, Kay, you knew the secret?
Yes, that's true. But if I didn't think for a moment that these two would be very happy together, Allison, I would have...
Together? My son and this cheap little stripper?
Oh, you see, Victor, it's just like I've told you all along. If you're a stripper, people think that you're a tramp, and there's nothing you can do to teach me to help it.
Nikki, wait.
I think we should be leaving now.
But, Mrs. Bancroft, we haven't had dinner yet.
I couldn't eat a bite. I'm feeling very ill. Earl, Kevin, would you drive me home, please?
I think that's best, yes.
Mother, I can't go anywhere until I talk to Nikki.
Kevin, I'm your mother, and I'm sick. Can't you spare me time enough to drive me home? Please.
Come along, son. Kay, will you please explain to Miss Reed? Mr. Newman, we will talk later.
Mr. and Mrs. Bancroft?
Good evening.